Back on Patriot League All Access, joining us now is the new head volleyball coach at Lehigh University, Bob Bertucci. Coach, appreciate you taking a few minutes of your time today. Thank you very much.
No problem.
You're entering your first season at Lehigh, but you're 33rd overall as a head coach, coming from Temple University, where you spent the last 16 seasons. Why come to Lehigh at this point in your career? What made it an opportunity that you wanted to jump at? Why Lehigh and why now?
Well, I think Lehigh is really a very distinctive university, and I think it was a nice time for me to make a change at Temple, but personally as well as professionally. And Lehigh was, it's just up the street. It's not too far away, and it's a great league with a lot of good volleyball being played these days, and I was excited about joining.
Tell me a little bit about your impressions of the Patriot League. Obviously, you're coming in now as your first season at Lehigh, but you had the perspective from the outside looking in, so to speak. I'm sure having played some Patriot League programs over the course of your tenure at Temple and maybe even before that, but what were some of your impressions of playing against Patriot League teams and what you thought the league might have been based on those opportunities that you had to play against Patriot League teams along the way?
Well, we did play a number of the Patriot League teams, over my tenure at Temple. Of course, partially because of the close proximity of the teams, to Philadelphia, and also because I know some of the coaches in the league. That led to, some nice rivalries and competition. Specifically with Lehigh, I think Lehigh is definitely a program that's on the upswing right now, and there's a lot of potential, in that program. One, because of the university, but also because of its location in the state of Pennsylvania and in the Northeast, where it can attract some really top talent. In respect to the league, we've seen a lot of progress in the league over the last few years. With Alma Cavacci up at West Point, and a tremendous job she's doing there, and of course, Americans always been strong and been competitively nationally. And some of the changes that have happened just this year in the league, I think it's really going to step up in terms of the level of competition it's playing and the level of competition between teams within the Patriot League.
One of the things I wanted to bring up, which some people may not know about you, but it is in your bio at LehighSports.com, is that you founded the women's volleyball program at West Point back in 1978. Talk a little bit about what you remember about that period of time and the amount of work that went into founding a program at a service academy like that, which is obviously it has become a bit more equal in terms of the enrollment since the 70s, but at the time, obviously, a lot more men than women. Talk a little bit about what that was like when you were founding the volleyball program at Army.
Well, Army was my first collegiate position I had, and of course I was brought there, to coach the men's program. And the year I had gotten there was the year that women first entered the service academies, and they were looking for different, ways that they could get the women involved in athletics, and there was a major push in that direction. So it was relatively easy in terms of it was something the administration wanted to have happen, and they were very supportive of it. So that kind of greased the wheels, if you will, to making it happen. And of course the women wanted to have some opportunities just like the men had at that time. So there was a lot of enthusiasm from the female cadets, to start the program. So we actually started it the first fall season I was there as a club sport, and that was kind of the founding ground for it. And then following, we had some success actually the first year, though I was only aware of being a club later on in the years. I thought I thought we had set it up as a varsity sport right from the beginning. But apparently it had a one-year trial period, and then moved on to varsity status the next year. And it wasn't really all that difficult. It was a matter of just setting up a structure that we could function within. And and we just got up and started, and it was working well, and it has been since then.
One of the names that you just mentioned a few minutes ago is a name you know pretty well and has become very well known within Patriot League circles, the coach at Army, Alma Kovaci. What's that going to be like now that you'll be seeing her at least twice a year when you'll be coaching up against her during Patriot League play?
Well, I think I know Alma very well. I mean, she played for me at Temple for 4 years before taking a position up at West Point. I know how competitive she is. She was an All-American for us. And she is totally committed to that program and the success of the program. So it's going to be very exciting for us to compete against each other. But it's also going to be, one of those things where, you wish the best for both, and you just hope it's a real, good, competition, and everybody's going to work hard, and let the chips fall where they may. I know she does a tremendous job with her team, and I think it's going to be a real challenge for us. But I think at the same time, it's going to be one of those things where you really enjoy having that opportunity.
You just started camp a few days ago, getting everybody back on campus and getting the preseason workouts underway. What are some of the things that you've been able to see just in the very early going with camp that's been encouraging for the 2011 season?
Well, specifically speaking about the team, I think the young ladies that we have here are really kind of a special group. I mean, they're highly intelligent individuals, of course. They're very well-rounded individuals. And the real interesting thing for me, having, maybe a different perspective, from other programs, other universities, and different teams from high school teams that I work with in the summer to, the U.S. team that I've worked with, over the last number of years. This team is unquestionably has the best chemistry I've ever seen on a team. I mean, these girls really get along. They love each other to death. And it's really kind of a nice thing to see that they really just have a great esprit de corps, if you will, amongst them. And I think that's going to be something that's really going to carry this team. They're pretty good volleyball players. They have a good volleyball IQ, so I think that's going to be good. And it's just going to be a matter of, getting them in the best shape they can get in and just go after it.
I would imagine that a good chunk, if not all, of the non-league schedule that your team is playing this year was put together prior to your arrival. But just tell me a little bit about your philosophy when it comes to putting together a non-conference schedule. What are some of the things that you try to accomplish with the schedule? What are some of the challenges that you like to put forward towards your team before you enter into conference play?
Well, I think you're right about the fact that the non-conference schedule was put together, prior to me arriving, and I think it was done, fairly well in terms of the progression that it shows and the level of competition. It gets progressively more difficult and challenging as we're moving closer to the conference schedule, and I think the thought behind it was to have the team as best prepared as they could be going into a tough conference schedule.
And moving forward, just your philosophy is pretty much the same. What are some of the things that you try to do when and thinking maybe moving forward? What are some of the things that you like to do when you put together your non-conference schedule?
Well, what I like to do is I like to challenge our team as well as prepare them, and that's there's really kind of a knack to that. I'm not sure I have the answer to it, but speaking just generally, I like to have a non-conference schedule that is progressive in nature and is going to challenge the athletes. At the same time, be one that's going to help move forward the whole league in terms of their RPI and where we're going as a league.
Bob Bertucci is the brand new head volleyball coach at Lehigh University, joining us now on Patriot League All Access, entering his first season in Bethlehem. Coach, appreciate the time. Thank you so much. Good luck this season. We'll talk to you down the road.
All right. Thanks very much.